The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local. Welcome back, everyone, to Buying Local. I'm your host, Mike Nelson. Very excited to get back at it here after the break. If this is your first time listening, typically what we're doing each episode is interviewing local business owners, local personalities, people in the community, and really just trying to make sure that we're doing anything we can to amplify the voices of the people in our community, our friends, our families, our neighbors, and then promote, of course, to buy local instead of buying from those online retailers or big box stores. Because when you buy local, you're supporting friends, families, neighbors. So, but let's get at it here today. I'm with a special guest, very special guest.
Oh boy!
Yes, the town tinkerer, Scott Lufkin. So, just because I'm going to do a horrible job, even though I do follow you on social media and I follow you on YouTube, which by the way, you're how many subscribers away from 1,000?
Last check, I think 40.
40. So, Scott, tell us what the town tinkerer is. And I know if you're listening, you're already interested just because you're a tinkerer, but.
Right. Well, the town tinker is me, obviously. And, and the idea is that I go out in my community and I do projects of all shapes and sizes. If you watch my channel, you'll see that it is all over the boards. And the reason for that at this point is I just can't devote full-time effort to doing projects in my community exclusively. So as a filler, I throw in pretty much anything that I do, and all sorts of, repair projects, restoration projects, home improvement projects, you name it. As the channel grows, maybe we get away from that, or maybe people like that and we stick with it. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride.
You're along for the ride. So it sounds like you tinker.
I tinker, yeah. I fix things, I break things, I blow things up. You name it. Is
there a blow things up episode on your YouTube channel?
Actually, I don't think there is any yet that have blown anything up. It's such a common occurrence for me that I don't know. I don't know that if I've actually videoed any.
Oh, well, we're going to come back to that one. So tell us about some of the things that you have tinkered.
Well, I've done, like I said, I've restored a lot of things for, just household things, stuff like that. But the episodes that I like the most are... I did a clearing project in our village that was kind of an area that was grown up and pretty nasty looking. I went in and cleared all that out. It was one of my first episodes. I had an old truck that used to belong to the town that I live in. I gave it back to them so they could put it in front of the town highway barn. They painted it all up and decorated it for Christmas and stuff. That was one of my
So what did you do to the truck? You got it running?
No, it's way too far gone to get it running.
Okay.
All we did was... I gave it to them. I helped get it out of the barn where it was stored, and then found them some parts so they could at least put it on display.
Gotcha. So I guess maybe we should fill in a couple blanks here. What town are we talking about?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Argyle.
Argyle.
Yeah.
I was just talking about Argyle this morning because we were talking about beer.
Doesn't happen very often. People talk about Argyle.
I think it happens more than you know. I love Argyle. I think it's a beautiful town, beautiful countryside.
I agree.
And but we're talking about beer and we were talking about breweries, and then this Scotlander came into the conversation. Yeah. I still have not been there.
That's our local brewery. Yeah.
And then one of the people was like, "Wait, I thought that was a dry town." So, right. And then we had to let them know that just what was it, maybe 3 years ago?
Yeah, maybe.
That
just before COVID.
Just before COVID. Yep. Wow, they must have known.
Because the guy who opened Scotlander was a good friend of mine,
and
he was instrumental in getting the law changed because it was a dry town ever since Prohibition.
Yeah,
it was a dry town up until then. So they did it. They got the law changed. It must have been voted on in November of 2019. And then in the spring, COVID came along. So here he has this new business.
Yeah, I know.
COVID hits, and
That's like that happened to a lot of people.
yeah,
What was that a big hubbub in the town?
it was a mediocre hubbub.
A mediocre hubbub.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I remember when I was a kid, that came up to vote every once in a while, maybe every 10 years or so. Somebody would say we should be able to sell beer,
And they'd vote it down.
and they'd vote it down. They kept voting it down, and there were people like my grandfather was one who. He was a teetotaler. He didn't drink, and he didn't think anybody else really needed to. So
Really?
yeah, he was against it, totally against it. Yeah.
Wow. So it was just a bunch of old curmudgeons that kept voting it down, or is that
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like on the fence,
yeah?
and maybe to keep peace in the family or whatever, they would go along and
Or
vote it
tradition.
down. And they'd be like, "Well, I don't mind driving to the next town to get beer." But then the craft beer business, sort of changed it because now it's like we can have a cool thing in town, and
Well, that's why it was always funny that the Argyle Brewing Company was in
right. See,
Greenwich and Cambridge.
yeah, they started their business when it was still a dry town. So if it hadn't been, they probably would be in Argyle.
Yeah.
Would only make sense, right?
But instead, Scotlander got to be the first brewery.
Yeah.
But it was called Highlander before.
It was called
that, right?
Highlander. They had some kind of a copyright problem, so they had to change it.
Change it to Scotlander.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you should own a bar
You think so?
called Scotlander, being that you're a Scot.
Oh, that's true. And I have Scottish ancestry, too.
Yeah. I hear you do a kilt thing. Was there a kilt episode for the Tinkerers?
I don't think I've had my kilt on. I started at 3. This was our third year for I think it was the third year for a Scottish festival in Argyle, which I'm kind of part of putting together. And I wear a kilt for it.
Very nice.
Oh, I had some footage of me.
I bet you got great legs for a kilt, Scott.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
So maybe we should back up a little bit more too, and just kind of give people your background a little bit, right? So, how does one become a tinkerer? Like, what have you?
I think I've always been a tinkerer.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's just natural.
It's just in your blood?
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, I was a machinist out of high school. Never went to college, and I was always interested in fixing stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always loved my town. My small town. Always loved it. So time went on, and you learn new things. You walk through the world with your eyes open, as I like to say, and you can't help but learn new stuff. And before you know it, you're kind of a guy who can fix anything, and that's
how it all. That's how it all came.
Yeah,
came
and
to
then,
be.
And then my channel's it's got kind of two aspects to it, right? One is fixing things, physical things, and one is working on my town, improving my town, whatever. So, when my kids were little, I didn't really have time. I put my time into my family.
Sure.
But now my kids are grown and they don't really need me around anymore. Don't really want me hanging around, let's be honest. So, I have time on my hands, and my wife certainly doesn't want me hanging around the house all the time. So, I have more time to do these projects.
Tinker.
I can go out in the town and just.
What do you think the craziest tinkering project you've done is? What's the best story you've got?
Oh boy, I didn't really prepare for this.
I know.
I've been at it for
that's why it's on the spot. That's why.
Yeah, I've been at it for a little over a year, pretty much videoing anything that seems video worthy. And
I saw a Star Wars episode.
They're not crazy. Oh yeah, some of the shorts are kind of funny. I pull stuff out of the videos for it. Yeah.
No, you told me a story. I mean, being a fan, I guess. The Gravestone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was. I mean, in a way, I guess was crazy. So I tracked down my genealogy.
Yeah.
And found some Lufkins over in New Hampshire. So me and my wife go on what we call Dead Lufkin tours, where we drive.
Dead Lufkin tours.
Yeah, we drive. Nice. We drive all over, and we find the graves of these folks. So we went to this one little town, and the grave of my 5 great grandmother was in pretty bad shape, laying on the ground, all broken. It was in, I think, 10 pieces. So I had learned a little bit about gravestone repair, so I did direct.
Wait, hold on a second. What do you mean you'd learned? You already had learned a little bit about.
I had watched some videos and read a couple of books about how to reper gravestones. That's a real thing.
Just for fun? That's like a Tuesday at the Lufkin house?
Yeah, no, because I was interested in this stuff. So I gathered up the pieces and brought them home because it was like 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm not going to fix it here. Gathered up the pieces, took my buddy. That's an episode, I guess. My buddy and our wives drove out there and took the pieces and brought them home. And I had left a stake in the ground with my name and number and stuff on it. And the guy who runs the cemetery, he did not think this was at all funny. He had no sense of humor at all about it. So he calls me up and he's super mad and threatening to have me arrested and all this stuff. And finally I talked him down and said, I'm going to fix the stone and I'm going to bring it back. And he didn't believe me at first. And then after a while, I guess he kind of did. So we did, or I did. I fixed the stone.
Didn't he like post something on Facebook?
Yeah, they had a Facebook page about their town's cemeteries or whatever. And he had put a thing on Facebook like, does anybody know who this is?
Who this Scott Lufkin character is?
So I went on afterwards. I wasn't following it or anything. I saw it afterwards and saw where, a whole bunch of people had gone on there and said, well, why don't you call the phone number that he wrote on the stake, So that's what he did eventually. And so I took the stone back, me and my son. That's another episode so there's an episode where I fix it. And then, of course, my house gets haunted because I got this gravestone in my basement.
Obviously.
And then when it was done, my son and I took it back and put it back up.
So what goes into, and you never got arrested though?
We never got arrested. In fact, when
for
we
the kids at home,
took it back, there was no hoopla. There was neither a policeman waiting to arrest me nor a parade waiting to celebrate my name.
All right. Well,
I guess we'll take that right down the middle.
Yes. But you repaired the gravestone.
Yes.
Like new?
As new as it could be. She died in 1788, and it was in 10 pieces. So, yeah.
So what goes into repairing a gravestone like that?
Nowadays, it's epoxy.
Okay.
It's all modern adhesives.
Do you have to like build a form and then put it in there and then do that whole deal?
I built
like you're making a river table?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Do you make river tables?
No, I don't.
Oh. I would like to be able to make a river table. I just want you to know that.
You want me to do an episode on that?
I think maybe you should.
Because I find the best way to do something, to learn how to do a thing.
It's just to do it?
You watch a little bit and learn a little bit, but mostly just do it, yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Make some mistakes.
Yeah.
Toxic fumes, I think, with the epoxy stuff.
You
gotta be careful.
A decent buzz for a while.
Yeah. Still got a twitch?
No, it went away.
It went away. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You gain control of my vital functions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So help me understand this a little bit more, though. So you're going to epoxy, make a form, you throw it in there, right? That's just piecing it back together.
Yeah.
What about like the writing on it? Because I feel like I remember something about you couldn't really read it.
Yeah, there was part of it you couldn't read, and that's the part where I got haunted because my great grandma, I think, spoke to me in a weird way.
Okay.
You're going to have to just watch that again and see. So then I knew what it said, and some of the breaks were like right over the letters, so I had to re-carve them.
Do you like you grind it or whatever? Okay.
No, I just shaped the epoxy, really.
Okay.
But if you don't know what it says, you don't know what to shape it to, obviously. So,
how do you think it came out?
I think it came out really good.
Yeah. Out of 10.
Out of 10, I bet it's a solid 8.5.
8.5,
which to me is good enough.
I mean, an 8 is great.
Yeah.
But an 8.5 is better.
Yeah.
If my math is correct.
It's definitely better. It's a half better. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, so what other kinds of things are you doing on the channel? Like, what are some of your goals for the channel, or what are you trying to accomplish with it?
Well, I'm a 51-year-old dude. I don't know anything about YouTube. Let's face it, right? I'm going into this pretty blind.
You're on that weird edge where you're not quite a boomer.
You're right.
You're like an old Gen Xer. Is that how that?
I guess so. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
I mean, I'm almost 47.
I don't like you saying old like that, like in a derogatory.
I mean, you look like you're 18.
That's terrific.
Yeah, no, that's yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you did. What's that crap they shoot in their foreheads?
Oh, I don't
Botox.
know. Oh,
I was ask you if you Botoxed.
Oh, I actually don't, but I appreciate
cucumber slices on the eyes.
I do that every night.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Steak. I mean, I eat it.
Right. Yes. Health foods.
Right.
So what are some of your plans for the channel? Like, what's your end goal other than having fun and having some laughs?
Right. I mean, that's where we're at. Let's face it. If the channel could grow to the point where I could get some advertisers, get a little bit of revenue coming in, my projects involved with helping to build up my town would be my focus. You know, if I had my choice, that would be my focus. I'd like to build a park. We have an area where it would be perfect for a park, and I'd love to do that. I think could be done without a lot of money, but I can't dedicate that kind of time to it until it's paying me a little bit, you know?
I would imagine in a town like Argyle, there are at least a couple of people that have some pretty good farm equipment and other things like that, that you guys would be able to just kind of band together as a community and make a park.
That's my favorite thing about my town and small towns all over
Small
the country.
towns in general, yeah.
Everywhere. All over the world, actually, is that people get things done.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're waiting for the town to do it,
right,
you're going to be old and probably dead before it happens.
Well, plus it's going
nothing against the town of Argyle, by the way, everyone. I'm just saying, in general, governments and bureaucracies run pretty slow.
I mean, I'm a town councilman in Argyle, so I'm a little offended.
So I'm talking about you.
No, I get it. You're totally right. And the other thing is, if the town does it as a governing body, the taxpayer has to pay for it.
Sure.
Whereas if we can do it as a community,
I mean, at that point, you just need permission, right?
Right. You need permission and you need some help. And you just do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the tone. Most of my videos where I do a good deed, so to speak, for my community, you'll see that the tone of it is generally, at the very least, it's in my closing to just go out in your community, look to your left and look to your right, and you're going to see something that needs to be done, and just pick up a shovel and go do it. You know, that's what it's all about. That's how we get things done.
I wish I could think of an example, but I feel like I know of examples where people are trying to do those things, but the governmental bodies of those towns are actually getting in the way.
Yeah.
And citing silly things like liability and other stuff.
I find it best to, well, for example, we had a sidewalk in town. It had some lights that weren't working. It was kind of overgrown with brush and things. And if you go through the channels, quote unquote, well, it may never get done. It may be too expensive. It may be that you don't want, or maybe you do, but maybe half the town doesn't want their tax dollars to do it. But if you just grab your pole saw and go trim the brush, and I mean, I went and bought some light bulbs with my own money and put them in, and the lights were working, and plowed it with my own tractor because it was in the wintertime. And there's a couple videos about that, and it's done. You just do it and it's done. And if somebody has a problem with it, I mean, what are they going to say?
So this falls into the better to ask for forgiveness and permission.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes that is a valid strategy.
Right. I mean, if you spend a bunch of tax money on it, I can see why I can understand people being upset. If you stand around and complain and it never gets done, that's upsetting to you. So just go do it.
Just go do it.
Yeah. If you don't have the money, if there's money needed, you don't have it, then just talk to people. We just built a skating rink in town. Everybody.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I decided maybe we should have a skating rink. There's nothing going on in the wintertime for the kids to do. So I threw it out on social media, and at the time I had found a skating rink a guy was selling for like $250. So I said, well, if we had $500, we could buy this plus whatever else we need and put it up.
Make it happen.
People started bringing money to the town clerk's office, giving it to her. We had the money before long. Of course, we missed that one. It sold. Oh. So we ended up making our own new one. But yeah, I mean, I asked for $500. We ended up with $2,300 donated, which they just put into a fund so that the next several years, our skating rink, if it needs new this or that,
that's
or
pretty
we want
sweet.
to improve it, it's done. So last weekend, 2 days ago, we, me and a few of my buddies, built a skating rink. We'd never built a skating rink before, but
what goes in? Like you're saying this, I'm like, man, I feel like I want to put a skating. We have this like on our farm. We have this like oval.
Yeah,
the driveway goes around it, and in the winter, the middle is just it's not being used because it's just full of snow.
Right.
But it'd be really cool if it was a skating rink.
It's got to be pretty level.
Okay.
Because water has a way of leveling itself out.
Yeah, that's true.
So if one side's a foot low, the other's going to have a foot of water before the other side has.
Okay.
But if it's pretty level, all you do is we just made a perimeter out of boards up on edge, and
okay.
Well, hey, watch the Town Tinker. Okay, it's a
somehow
it's a time lapse. It's gonna.
I didn't realize I missed that video.
It just went up.
Oh, it just went up. Oh, okay.
So you make a perimeter out of boards, and then you buy a piece of plastic, like at the. We went to the
like landscaping plastic,
as heavy as you can get, right?
Yeah,
and white is good because it won't draw heat and melt.
Yeah.
So we bought ours was a silo cover, like farmers use to cover their trenches, and put it white side up, tuck it down in there, and fill it with water. I had the fire truck come, fill it with water. Well, we've got it partly filled. We got to wait. Actually, I'm thinking Mother Nature's going to fill it. We're supposed to get rain.
You're hoping on tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This week we should get
little snow today, little rain, yeah.
So it'll be full. So that's the kind of thing, though. I mean, like, I thought, I wonder if people want a skating rink.
Yeah.
So you throw it on social media is good for something. It's bad for a lot of things, but it's good for something, right?
How do you keep it smooth?
Oh, you're still talking about the ice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't let go of that. No, because now I'm thinking about this.
I mean, let's just hope it stays smooth. Because if it doesn't, I got to build a Zamboni.
I was about to say.
Don't make me build
out of an old lawnmower.
Exactly.
I was actually laughing about. I was telling some of the story about. I was talking about how I need to clean my gas tank out for the motorcycle I was trying to restore.
Oh yeah.
And you told me to put some rocks in it. What did you tell me to put in it for liquid?
Water or acetone, anything. Really.
Something I forget. It's something, and
Needs
then
a little lubrication.
And then bungee cord it to the tire of my riding lawnmower, and then drive it around.
Go mow the lawn.
Yeah, mow the lawn.
Don't waste your time. Be productive. Go mow the lawn.
That's
by the time you get done, that stuff will tumble
That's multitasking
around.
at its finest, actually.
Or you could snow blow if it's wintertime, whatever.
Oh, that's true.
But your inside of your tank will be clean.
Okay. So
anyways, let me go back to the skating rink.
Sorry.
I threw it on social media for two reasons. One, I want to know if people want it or not.
Yeah.
And two, I want to know if people are willing to pay, because I'd rather not have that burdened on the taxpayer, because it got built on town property. So by rights, it could have been something the town just funded, right? We have a fund for that.
Sure.
Youth commission, could do that. But better yet, if people are willing to pony up and make donations, people donate. Some people donated $500. Some people donated $20. And it's all great,
Don't you feel like in the instance where you're calling on people to donate and ask them to do it, that they're going to be a little bit more like they've got skin in the game now, so they're going to be more involved, or at least feel they're more a part of something rather than just passing a resolution at a board meeting that you guys are the town's going to build a skating rink and
and then is anybody going to use it? We don't know. But if people. So a lot of people wanted it, and like I said, a lot of people donated. So now you know that. Well, I mean, you're pretty sure it's going to get used.
Sure.
You don't want to put time into it if nobody wants it. That's a waste of time. So it kind of does two things. It tells you there's a want. It's not a need, but it's a want, and there's money there. And people come out of the woodwork to give you money, and they come out of the woodwork to help you do it. We were down there, and people keep wheeling in and want to help build the thing. And would have been great if we knew what we were doing. So we had you do this, but it's more like just hang out a minute and we'll probably have something for you to do.
Yeah, well, as soon as we figure out what we're doing,
right,
we'll have you help us with it.
Yeah.
What other community projects have you done over there?
One of the longest project was the restoration of the bell in one of the churches in the village. Had gotten to be in pretty bad shape. Civil War era bell. 1870, I think the church was built. Bell was casted in 63 or something. People just have to go watch the episodes.
Yes, for sure, yeah.
But that was probably,
don't spoil it.
It was probably, 4 episodes of what started out as, I think this needs a new bushing machine, because I have a little machine shop at my house, so I can do stuff like that. And started out real simple, ended up being complete disassembly, lowering it out of the belfry, not the bell itself, but the entire chassis. And I had a buddy of mine that stepped up and rebuilt the wooden parts of it, because he's a woodworking guy, and my hair terrible at woodworking. So, but we just worked together, and my buddy Dave is a common character on my videos, because he's always around to help with whatever. So he helped a ton, and I ended up completely restoring this bell.
Which episode is that?
There's a playlist called Church Bell.
Okay.
That has all those episodes.
See, you're pretty savvy at this YouTube
I'm kind
stuff.
of catching on.
Getting there.
Catching on, yeah. My channel, the problem with my channel is it's just all over because I can't just focus on projects for the town because I don't have the time or the money to just only do that. So I have to fill in with other stuff.
Well, and if you had a focus, you wouldn't really be a tinkerer anymore.
Guess, right. I'd be a whatever the focus is.
Listen, I've got a great idea for an episode. I need to build these mobile chicken tractors.
Oh.
And
I actually have built chicken tractors.
yeah, and well, this is like a hoop house greenhouse meets chicken tractor, but I want it to have wheels so that I can move it from paddock to paddock to paddock to paddock.
Easier.
Yeah,
Mine were always just hook the garden tractor on
and just drag it.
But it's not that great.
Well, I feel like over time it's going to break,
It certainly will. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or damage something.
People are going, what's a chicken tractor?
A chicken tractor, that's when you are farming and you want your chickens to be able to help, you buy them a John Deere chicken tractor. No, it's basically a house that chicken live in that you can pull around. Right? Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, I guess so. You move it to different spots, and they kind of fertilize that spot, and they eat the bugs there and whatever. And
Yeah.
you just keep moving. The trick to them is move them often. Because if not, it becomes a mess.
Yeah.
Don't talk to my wife about chicken tractors, please.
Why not? I like talking to everyone about anything farming.
No, I didn't make. My chickens made
Yeah.
a pretty bad mess in my yard because I didn't move the chicken tractor often enough.
Oh yeah, you got to move it every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a wannabe. You may or may not have known this, but I'm a wannabe regenerative farmer.
I knew that you were a pig farmer.
Well, sheep. Really, and so I consider myself a sheep farmer.
Okay.
Because I have more sheep than anything else. Well, that's not true. I have more chickens than sheep, but chickens don't count. Everybody's got chickens.
Right.
But I've got more sheep than anything else. But I'm becoming a pig farmer as well because I just bought a male and a female kuni.
Kuni.
Kuni. Fun to say.
It is.
Yeah. Mainly because they're maybe the only pigs that can actually survive off pasture. So they can basically you can have a litter of piglets, put them out on pasture, and they'll gain weight without grain on pasture. Whereas all the other pigs, you got to at least supplement with grain.
You know the great thing about raising pigs? They're delicious.
Well, yeah.
Bacon. That's the best thing about
Bacon seeds.
Yeah.
So back to where were we?
Chicken tractor.
Chicken tractor. Yeah. But I'm a wannabe regenerative farmer. So I'm actually creating a grazing system on our farm right now so that I can move chickens, sheep daily.
I see.
And then pigs will get moved every week or two.
You're not doing a sheep tractor. You're doing paddocks.
Well, so we have paddocks. The one thing I am considering is a sheep tractor because I don't want to say one of the negatives or downsides to our farm is we only have one barn.
Oh.
But I also don't. I know a lot of people. Most farmers probably put their sheep out and don't worry about whether or not it rains.
Right.
Right.
I think sheep are known to be fairly waterproof.
Yeah, well, yes, I guess the wool and all that, right?
Right.
So, I have haired sheep as well.
Oh.
So I have a Katahdin ewe, which is the female ewe, which is what female sheep are ewes.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we go off on that tangent, but so I was also considering creating a mobile sheep barn, similar to the chicken tractor.
That would have to be big though.
Well, you could do like a hoop house.
Yeah.
Like almost like a lean-to, but hoop house lean-to that was mobile that I could put on wheels and bring it around so that when whatever paddock they're in, I've got this whole dream of doing this whole thing for the sheep anyway. So that they always have some place to go when it rains.
I see.
If that's weird, I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm sure like legit sheep farmers with thousands of sheep would be like, what are you talking
about?
But
for you,
for me,
it's great.
Yeah. If I got a dozen or so sheep, like whatever. Yeah. Interesting. So sheep tractor. We could maybe the first the world's first sheep tractor. That'd be good for an episode.
That would be earth-shattering.
Yeah, right?
Could change the world, you and me.
I know. I think we've got it.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about like if people are looking to find you, learn more, but they want to watch your videos, or they want to see some of the shorts. Like where are you at, digitally speaking?
Basically, it's YouTube. I have a Instagram and a Facebook also, which is The Town Tinker. Instagram.
Tinker or Tinkerer?
Tinker.
Tinker, the Town Tinker.
The Town Tinker. It's like the Village Idiot.
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I probably should have wrote these things down ahead of time if I knew what I was doing. But Instagram, if you just search The Town Tinker, you'll find me.
Okay.
Really good looking guy.
Really good looking guy.
Looks like he does Botox, but doesn't.
Right. Cucumber slices on the eyes.
That's it. That's the key.
Yeah. That's what I was told.
And lots of red meat.
Obviously.
Yeah. I stay away. My channel is pretty much free of politics for the most part, as much as I can. As much as I love to talk about my conservative politics, I keep it to myself.
Okay.
Because there's a place, and I don't think that's really it.
That would be a whole nother YouTube channel.
Yes, right. Maybe I'll spin one off someday.
There you go.
And it's pretty child-friendly.
So no swearing?
No
swears?
Very little.
Okay.
Not that kids would really be interested in it at all, but you won't be embarrassed if you watch it in front of your kids. Let's put it that way.
All right. That's good because there's not a lot to watch out there anymore that doesn't embarrass me when I'm watching it with my children. So even the Disney movies, I get my cheeks turn red.
Yeah.
Interesting. Not to get political.
Yeah.
Somehow that is. I don't know why that is. But anyway, so is there a website?
There's no website.
No website? Okay.
Yet.
So YouTube, social media.
YouTube and social media.
If someone wants to do an episode with you, do you do that?
I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
I'd be more than happy to.
Okay. I mean, I'm just throwing sheep tractor out there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll be thinking about this.
Yes, the sheep tractor. So just to filter it in your thoughts too, I was thinking because one of the things I need to do, so right now with the storm we just had, I had all the sheep in the barn, right? So you get a few sheep and a few pigs and some alpacas and some chickens all in a barn.
You got some fertilizer.
You've got stuff you got to clean, right? So after a couple of years of that, you kind of got to rest the barn, as they say, right? So this year coming up, I got to rest my barn. So I'm going to do everything I can to keep them out of the barn over the summer and next winter. I want to give it a full year's rest. So my thought was that this hoop house, this sheep tractor, would be their barn, quote unquote, during the winter to keep the snow and keep them nice and warm and dry.
Yeah.
So I need to add a hay feeder in there and water.
Water's tough in the winter.
Water is, believe me,
You know this.
I do. Yeah. 3 times a day I know it because I've got to go out there because for the things that I can't plug in, like our big pig's water, right. I can't plug her dish in. I've tried, but she just tears it out of there and it freezes anyway. Yeah. So basically I have to go out at least 3 times a day and basically take the frozen water thing and smash it on the ground and then fill it back up with water. But
wow.
So just turn it around in that.
I will. I'll be thinking about it.
That tinker brain. Scott, I appreciate you driving down here and coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and seriously though, check out his episodes. I always enjoy the content that you're putting out. It's fun, it's lighthearted, also informative.
Somewhat.
Can learn something. And thanks everybody for listening. Of course, you can find us on glensfallstoday.com, saratogabusinessreport.com, YouTube, Rumble. You need a Rumble channel. And everywhere you get podcasts. Thanks for listening. The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.